friend. So you finally come to accept the inheritance from your grandfather. God rest his soul. I've worked on your grandpa's farm for over 40 years, first as a farmhand, and later with a whole kit and caboodle when he was no longer able to do it all himself. Well, not to speak ill of the dead, but your grandpa was no moping old coot. No, sir, he really wasn't. Some people say he took the best part of his wealth into the village tavern with him, and came out again without it. And they say he had a way with the ladies, looking for a little bit of twilight action. Well, especially back then with Enid from Schreiber's farm. It was rumoured that... but let's just leave it at that. That's yesterday's news. Long story short, Grandpa didn't have too much dough stuffed under the mattress as everything was getting more and more expensive. That's mainly because of the euro. Well, according to him, it wouldn't have come to this with the Deutz-Mark, he used to say. It wasn't of much interest to the bank what your grandpa had to say about his plight, and so they impounded all his bits and pieces and sold them all off. That was probably the last nail in your grandpa's coffin. And then, as he was lying on his deathbed, his very last stable burned down. Arson is what the police called it, but they never did find out exactly who or what was behind it. The insurance paid out in the end. That's why there's still a bit of money tucked away. It'd be so nice to see the farm reach the heights of its glory days once more, just like during the economic boom years. Let's not waste any time. The early bird catches the worm. Select your farmhouse when you're ready to get started. Hey, you sleepyhead. Around here, we get up at the crack of dawn. I guess you're not used to that in a city. Let's get going. The first thing a farm needs is a couple of extra buildings. A roof over your tractors, slurry wagons, and a couple of other technical doohickeys. And your farmhands, maids, and the rest of his subjects need accommodation too, of course. Next to the farmhouse here looks like a good place to build. This plot belongs to you. They weren't able to wangle that out of your grandpa, those penny pincher. So, let's start with your workers' accommodation. Select the house from the list, and then you can place it. When the house glows green, you can place it. If it's a red, then there isn't enough place to build it there. Use the C key to rotate it. Be as economical as you can with the space, so that there's still room left over for other buildings. Finished already? You're quite the nimble one. Yeah. We don't rush things here. We're here to work and not on the run, right? And now we need what do you city folk call it? Car nut, car court, car rack. No, I've got it. Carport. That's what you call a garage, right? This is going to take some time, I said. These guys building here never were the quickest. We never used to see that before either. Look, they're drinking before midday. No. I'll have a word with the foreman about that. One more thing. Some buildings need power. That comes out of the sockets here, but you'll have to reach your hand into your pocket for it. It doesn't have to be a nuclear power whatchamacallit, says Eric, a cobbler. Henry Rickens, his brother-in-law, you know. He built himself one of those big fans out in the meadow. He says it saves him a bundle. But it wasn't too cheap. Whatever. We'll come back to that later anyway. If you want to get rid of a building, you can simply demolish it. Just grab the wrecking ball from the next village and boom! Ha ha ha! You should forget about that for now, though. If you have no more room to build, you can see if there's any construction ground for sale somewhere else. The man from the city. This is where your helpers spend their evenings, but there's not so much space in here. Ah well, I'll have to do it for now. If you check out the job market, you can bring a couple of new pairs of hands to the farm. You should make sure to spend some time with them yourself. If you don't want your farm hands to say, try milking the bull, then you should make sure he knows how to deal with animals properly. Good thing is that your guys and gals improve over time when they're given something to do. Of course, you need to make sure that you're giving each of them the right amount of money. If you don't pay them enough, they'll start to get more and more dissatisfied and start to work sloppily. And then, one day, they'll vamoose just like that. So make sure they don't become dissatisfied. Now, employ 2 workers, preferably one to work on the fields and one to look after the animals. Sweep clean, huh? Let's see how things get on now with the new guys. I can't do everything on my own round here. And there you are again. You need to take care of the tractors now. You also have to make sure there's enough space in the garage for your entire fleet of vehicles. A combine harvester like this is quite a bit bigger than a spade. If things start to get a bit tight in here, you can try rearranging your vehicles or move them to a different garage. Hop to it. First we need a tractor and a plough, otherwise you can forget planting anything. So buy some new vehicles now. You can either buy a fancy new tractor here, or you can check out the used vehicle market to see if they've got anything you can use. What's on offer there changes regularly, but they're not all in tip-top condition and already have a few years of service under the belt. By selecting a vehicle, you can see what it has to offer in terms of kmh and whatnot. So, go get yourself a tractor. A small one will do to start with, and a plough. Make sure you don't go spending too much money right away. Every now and then, you should check what condition your vehicles are in. They wear out too, and then they don't function so reliably anymore. Then one of your people who knows their way around that kind of thing will have to patch it up again. Well, get on it. We should start thinking about livestock farming. We should be able to milk a regular income out of a couple of cows. cattle shed. Then you can go and buy 5 cows. That should be enough to begin with. In the cattle shed, you can also check how an individual cow is doing, how much milk it produces, and how old it is. A cow only produces good milk when it's just had a calf, and it produces less as it gets older. You should eventually sell old cattle. Furthermore, if your animals get sick, you should call the vet to your stable. You also need someone to look after your animals around the clock. The fuller the stable, the more people you'll need for this. One person alone can't really manage it. Push the button with the head icon on it, and you will see your workers and can send them over if they're suited to caring for animals. So now, it's just a case of waiting for the cows to produce 1,000 kilos of milk. Then I'll show you how to turn that milk into cold, hard cash. Your cows have been working hard and giving milk, which you can now sell. You'll find the milk in the storehouse. You select the milk, as that's what we want to sell, right? You do want something. Now, enter an amount. Probably best to sell it all at once this time, but you're free to set the amount as you wish. Since the market price varies, sometimes it's worth waiting for the better price. But for now, we're happy to be rid of the milk, right? Ah, yeah, here comes old Herbert in his little truck to pick it all up. Actually, he's not even called Herbert, really. I just can't remember his real name. I'll ask him sometime. Perhaps. Newborn calves need to grow first before they're ready to give milk, but only the female ones. The male calves are sent straight to the village slaughterhouse. Ah, yes, something else. The stable only has limited space for milk and meat. You can extend it though, so you have a bit more space to store them.